The Secret Garden, adapted for English language learners at Level A2 by Story Steps.
Chapter 6. Magic. Spring arrived at Misselthwaite Manor on a morning in late March. Mary felt it the moment she woke up. The light was warmer and more golden, the wind outside softer and more gentle. Mary dressed quickly and ran downstairs and along the path toward the secret garden. She heard the birds singing as she ran. There were many more birds than before. They sang out loud, as if they had important news to share. Mary pushed open the garden door and stopped in the doorway. The garden had changed completely. Mary had watched it change slowly for many weeks. Now, overnight, it had transformed entirely. The daffodils were up and fully open in bright yellow and white. They grew in happy groups along the cleared beds. The crocuses covered the ground near the wall. Purple and gold flowers made a beautiful carpet of colour. The rose bushes had new leaves, fresh and green and tender on every branch. The whole garden was full of colour and life. Dickon was already there, kneeling in the corner where they had planted the sweet peas. He looked up as Mary came in, and a wide smile crossed his face. "It came last night," he said. "I felt it coming yesterday. Something in the air goes soft right before spring arrives. Did you feel it?" "I noticed the light was different this morning," said Mary. She turned slowly and looked at everything around her. "I never saw a garden come alive before. It does it every year, but it is new every time, I think. You do not grow tired of it." He stood up and pointed at the rose bushes. "Look at those. 3 weeks ago I was not sure about some of them, but now look." Mary looked at the roses. She saw hundreds of new leaves, bright and healthy, with red buds beginning to show along the stems. "When are they going to bloom?" asked Mary. 4 weeks, maybe 5, said Dickon. "If the weather stays warm, they will bloom even sooner. If they all bloom at once, this whole garden is going to smell." He searched for words, shook his head, and smiled. "You must wait and see." All morning they worked together. Mary had become a good gardener with strong hands and did not need instruction on basic tasks. They worked in comfortable silence, talking sometimes, laughing sometimes. At midday they rested against the warm wall. Martha had packed bread and butter for Mary, and they ate together. "Dickon," Mary said, "I have something to tell you. I told someone about the garden." Dickon looked at her calmly. "Not your brother, then?" he said. "Colin Craven, Mr. Craven's son. I found him about 2 weeks ago. I heard him crying one night and followed the sound. He lives in a room in the East Wing, and no one talks about him." "I heard of him," said Dickon carefully. "The village people talk sometimes. They say he is very sick and very difficult." "He is difficult," said Mary. "I am difficult too. He is not as ill as he thinks. He stayed in a room for years and became sure he was dying. I talked to him about real things, and he is smart and interested and alive. He just has nothing to get up for." "And you think the garden," started Dickon. "I think the garden will do for him what it did for me," said Mary simply. "I arrived here not much better than him. I did not care about anything. I was cold and not kind. I was unable to see the point of things. The garden changed all of this. It gave me something to come to, something to care about." She paused. "I want to bring him here." Dickon was quiet for a long time. He looked out over the garden. "He has never been outside," he said. "Not for years. He is afraid of the air. He says it might make him sick. It will be a shock for him, coming out for the first time into a place like this." "A good shock," said Mary. "I think so." Dickon nodded slowly. "All right, I will help. When do you want to try?" "Soon. There is a wheelchair in the back corridor of the house. I will arrange it with Martha." Later in the afternoon, Mary went to visit Colin. She visited him every day now. He was less afraid with her and less dramatic. He complained less about the servants and the food. With Mary there, he was curious and sometimes even funny. "You look happy about something," he said as she came in. "I am. Spring came and the garden is blooming." He looked at her with mixed feelings, interest, longing, and fear. "Colin," Mary said as she sat down, "I want to take you to the garden." "I am not able to go out," he said. "You can. I arranged everything. There is a wheelchair and Dickon will push it. We will go early in the morning. No one else will see us." "Dickon," said Colin, "Martha's brother, you spoke of him." "He is the kindest person I know. He will not stare at you or make you feel strange, I promise you." Colin grabbed his blanket very tightly. "What about the air? What about getting sick?" "It made me better. It will make you better too," said Mary. She looked at him steadily. "If you come and it turns out to be terrible and you hate it and feel worse, I will never ask you again. I do not think you will hate it." A long silence filled the room. "I am not a coward," Colin said at last. "No, I do not think you are." "All right, I will come." 3 mornings later they went. The light was just coming up over the moors. Martha had arranged the wheelchair quietly. Dickon arrived at dawn and helped Mary push Colin along the back corridors and out through the garden door. They wrapped Colin in coats and blankets. He was very pale. His jaw was set tight as he tried hard not to show fear. Mary walked beside the chair and said nothing to encourage him. She understood this was right. He did not want encouragement. Dickon opened the garden door and wheeled Colin through. Colin became very still. He looked at the roses and the daffodils and the crocuses. He looked at the new green walls and the apple tree with fresh leaves and the blue sky above, clean and enormous. Soot the crow appeared and landed on the wall nearby. Nut came racing along a branch and stopped to look at the boy in the chair with obvious interest. Colin said nothing for a very long time. His face was pale. His eyes were very wide. His hands were still in his lap. He spoke very quietly. "I can feel it," he said. "Feel what?" asked Mary. "I do not know exactly. Something is working here. In the air, in the ground, in everything. Something alive." "Yes," said Mary. "I felt it the first time too." "Is this your garden?" "It is ours now," she said. "All 3 of ours." Dickon leaned down to Colin's level, speaking quietly. "Do you want to touch one of the roses?" he asked quietly. "Just a leaf to start." Colin reached out his hands slowly. He was not sure his body would obey him. He touched a rose leaf and held it between his fingers. He turned it over to look at the tiny veins on the back. "Dickon," he said after a moment, "will you teach me about this? About all of it?" "Everything I know," said Dickon. Colin looked at the leaf in his fingers, at the garden, at Dickon and Mary. "I want to stand up," he said. "Will someone hold my arm?" Dickon held out his hand naturally. Colin took it, pushed back the blankets, put his feet on the ground, and stood slowly, shaking a little. He took one step, another. His legs were very weak. He leaned heavily on Dickon, but he walked across the garden to the wall. He put his hand flat on the warm stone. Above him, the apple tree was full of spring leaves and small birds. The sunlight came through them in beautiful patterns. Colin did not say anything. Mary looked at him and saw he was smiling, a real smile of joy and life. It was like the garden itself, woken up after a long winter, discovering it was still alive.